I am Buzz Aldrin, and
I approve this message.
What's up everyone, it's Chris with the Little Treasury channel. Welcome back. This is where we bring you awesome watch content at least once a week. And if you haven't already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be alerted as soon as we upload. I'm from Little Treasury Jewelers, which is located in Gambrills, Maryland. And it's where you go when you're in the know. As always, the watches that I review are for sale and can be purchased, so please see the description below to contact us. In our last video, we reviewed a really rare Breitling Super Ocean US only limited edition, and I really recommend you all giving Breitling a chance and check out what they are currently doing, which is not what you might have had in your head, since this brand is really heading in the right direction now. Today we have part 2 of our new Omega Speedmaster video for you, where we will compare the new Sapphire Sandwich model to the outgoing version, and show you the differences between the new Sapphire Sandwich and the hesalite versions as well. For most of the video, I will be using the new model on the bracelet and the outgoing version on a strap, so you can easily tell them apart. But before we move on, let's do a wrist check. Today I'm wearing my Omega Speedmaster Professional, which is on a rubber strap. I chose the blue version because I'm a James Bond fan, and this is the original GoldenEye style. Now tell me which watch you're wearing today while you're watching the video in the comments below, and what inspired you to get it. Now let's get on to the video. Omega has had the outgoing rendition of the Speedmaster MOONWATCH in its lineup since 1997. The only change was in 2014, where the bracelet was modified and the big moon box and 2 straps were added. So now in 2021, it has been completely redesigned, and although it has a similar look, it really is a new watch, and the many subtle differences are what sets it apart. Now, please take the time to smash the subscribe button, which is somewhere below where I'm pointing. We're at about 6% subscribed viewers now that are currently watching. That leaves 94% of you that are not subscribed, and I really appreciate if just maybe 5% of you would subscribe, and then that would be a very big deal for us. So please hit that button right now. Now let's get on to the features. My measurements for the new Sapphire Sandwich are a 41.9mm case width, a 13.6mm thickness, a 47.1mm lug to lug, a 20mm lug width, and weighing in at 138.81 grams. The outgoing model has a 41.7mm case width, a 13.7mm thickness, 47.9mm lug to lug, and a 19.7mm lug width. And on bracelet, it weighs in at 158.87 grams. Basically, the cases are very similar in dimension on the Sapphire Sandwich models, but the big difference is the weight between the bracelet versions, where the new one is about 20 grams lighter. The case of both pieces are in stainless steel, but the angles are slightly different. The new model has less high polish area, which is pushed out to the edges more, and a larger matte area. The pushers of the new model are low profile and have smaller cylinders with a more visible tube underneath. The crowns are nearly identical. The tachymeter has a less bold but slightly larger font on it than before. The sapphire crystals of these models are box style and are pretty much identical. The chronograph action on both pieces is extremely similar as far as the pusher clicks and the jumping of the chrono hand, and not a lot to discuss here. The dial of the new model is a slightly deeper black, has a slight texture to it, which perhaps emulates space, and on the Sapphire Sandwich has an applied Omega logo, versus the painted one on the previous models and even on the new hesalite version. The Omega, Speedmaster, and Professional font is more bold on the new version, and Speedmaster and Professional are now closer in size and line up from end to end. The grade along the edge now has less small tick marks, and clear space is shown in between each. The hands are the same besides the chronograph second hand, which is now thinner and more aerodynamic. But the white also seems to be a bit brighter on the new model as well. The dial of the new piece has a clear step to it, which gives it dimension when compared to the flat previous version. All 3 subdials now have dimension to them as well, and are more clearly defined. Lume will be the exact same and can be found on the hour, minute, and chronosecond hands, along with the dial markers and dots at the 12. The case back is open on both models. with of course a sapphire crystal displaying the new 3861 movement. It says coaxial master chronometer and the first watch worn on the moon, while the outgoing piece just says the first watch worn on the moon. The movements are both based on a Lamania 1873 and do look shockingly similar even with all the changes made to the 3861. The movement in the new piece is the 3861 caliber, which has only been in 3 special pieces before, which were the Apollo 11 gold on gold and stainless steel limited editions, and the unicorn of watches that you still probably can't get, the 50th anniversary Snoopy. The 3861 is accurate from 0 to 5 seconds a day, has a 50-hour power reserve, beats at 21,600 beats per hour, and has 26 joules. It is anti-magnetic up to 15,000 Gauss, is hand-wound, and does hack. It is a master chronometer certified by Metis movement and is coaxial. The outgoing 1861 movement was introduced in 1966 and showed its age. It was accurate from losing 1 to gaining 11 seconds per day, and they specify that this is only when the chronograph is not active. The anti-magnetism is more due to the dust cap on the movement than the native anti-magnetism of the new 3861, and it wasn't a master chronometer or coaxial. Both of the hesalite and sapphire sandwich version will have the exact same 3861 caliber in the new models, which was different from the old ones, which you had to buy the sapphire sandwich to get the slightly better decorated movement. The bracelets are now totally different, and a big point is that the new version sits flush with the case, while the outgoing model protrudes around an additional 3 millimeters on each side. The new bracelet tapers from a 20 millimeter to 15 millimeters at the clasp and has a smaller link design, which is all brushed on the hesalite version and has high polished smaller links on the sapphire sandwich. It culminates in a rectangular clasp that has lines going down the center and an Omega logo cast into it. The micro adjust is the same with one click available. The previous version has a broader link design with high polished smaller links and tapers from a 20 millimeter to an 18 millimeter and then back to a 20 millimeter at the clasp. The clasp is smooth and looks like a cushion and has Omega Speedmaster Professional engraved onto it. The new Sapphire Sandwich is 50 meter water resistant and can be yours for a wonderful $7,150, while the outgoing model was $6,350. Now for my humble opinion. Okay, let's be honest here. The new Speedmaster is better in every way possible than the previous model. It is very similar to the outgoing model, but just more polished all around. It's like going from Windows 8 to Windows 10. The dial looks more refined with the new dimensionality, plus you get an applied Omega logo. The case looks less oafy with the high polished areas being less broad. The pushers are slimmer. The weight is 20 grams lighter with the bracelet model. The bracelet doesn't protrude like the outgoing model and is much more compliant. Plus it tapers, which is very useful. If anyone watching this wears their watches a daily, you know exactly what I'm talking about for comfort. The bracelet is not sharp, and here is my tightly pulled, fitted nicely, scratch my hairy wrist test for the non-believers. Look, it's not even red at all, or bleeding. The case underside is slightly sharper than before, but it will not touch your wrist under any normal circumstance. The movement is pretty much the same movement as before, just modified to be coaxial, a master chronometer, and anti-magnetic. I will say this though, if you are on a budget, the outgoing model is a great watch and it will save you $800. You may like the original bracelet also if you are looking for something heavier and more solid. Like anything in this world, when a new model comes out, people will argue about the differences. But in this case, I think that the new one will stand out as a great upgrade. I will recommend the new Sapphire Sandwich to anyone who has been potentially avoiding the MOONWATCH before, since maybe it was too bland or the bracelet was too heavy, because these issues have definitely been addressed now, and the MOONWATCH is the best that it has ever been. Thanks for watching today, everyone. I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please make sure to smash that subscribe button, give this video a like, and of course, share this with your friends. We look forward to seeing you next video.